everybody. So I haven't made a video in a long time, but recently we just acquired this F-150, and our friends sent us some running boards, some power running boards that we're going to be installing here, and I'll post a picture of the ones that are going on here that look really nice. So we have all the packaging here, 2 boxes, one with the main hardware, harness, and some other little things, some instructions for different vehicles. These are for the 2022, 23. This is a 24, but I was told that they do work. And this is for all trims. And then this other instructions are for upper trims models and some heavy duty trucks. So this is the hardware, and those are the actual steps. So we're going to be going through the instructions. I believe the first thing that it says, well, I mean, obviously you got to check that you have everything in your box. I believe we do. And then the first step is going onto the driver's side and installing those plastic insulators, and then the front or the driver's side bracket motor, which is that one, DF, driver side, driver front. The other ones are passenger front, and the rear are the exact same on both. So I think those you can put them either way. So just get these plastic washers that are right here. We're gonna need some of these screws that are right here, and I believe they're labeled as well. They just have some numbers, but we'll make sure that these are the correct ones, and we'll go under the truck. Alright, so we are under the driver's side front, and the vehicle already comes with the studs coming out from the rocker panel, and it comes with a few 2 per door, I believe. No, just one on the front, one on the middle, and then one in the rear. So, but we're only going to be using the back one and the one in the front. So we're going to be adding our plastic washers. They include 12 of these. So we're going to be putting one per stud, and then we're going to be mounting the driver front with some the nuts and washers. So let me go ahead and put the plastic pieces first, and then we'll mount the hardware. Alright, so I put my plastic spacers on the front and the back, because I'm pretty sure instructions are going to say to do in the back. Now I can't hold this up with one hand and put the nuts on there, so I'm just going to put the phone down for a little bit and quickly mount that and tighten it. Don't tighten all the way, because I'm pretty sure we'll need to adjust as we go. And the way you're going to mount this is pretty self-explained. That's where your step is going to screw onto, and basically those are where your studs are going to fall into. Alright everyone, so I got the front and the rear brackets on, and right now they're just not tightened all the way up, but that's what the instructions say. So now we're going to go and do the same thing to the passenger side, and then we'll continue with the harness. Alright guys, so got the passenger and driver side brackets on. A little tip, you're gonna need an open end wrench. If you have one that ratchets, it will be so much easier, because there's not enough space to fit a socket here. But if you have one of these ratcheting wrenches, open end wrench, or like this one, I'm not sure what it's called, but it fits on there perfect. It's a 13 millimeter, and can't do it with one hand right now, but you'll be able to fit it in there and ratchet away, because you'll need it definitely on the passenger side. For the most part, all 6 bolts, you're going to need this for sure. Alright, so got the mounting hardware on. Next up is getting the main harness, and we're going to hook it up to our battery terminals. First thing, we'll remove the 25 amp fuse on the harness, just to just to make sure there's no electricity or no passing through the wire or through the harness as we do our connection. So we'll hook it up, and it says here that we'll run the long end towards the back of the engine bay, down the driver's side wheel well, and then we'll run the short end towards the passenger side. And then also the ECU module should be tucked in or somewhere stored somewhere here near the battery. So let's pull the wire harness out. This is the main harness, and then this is the ECU. So these are our next two components that we'll need. So let me pull it apart, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I got the harness pretty much laid out the way I kind of like it. Got the big connector here for that module, and it's gonna end up somewhere back here on the battery. I got my negative terminal hooked up to the battery and my positive hooked up to this side, and then I got the passenger side harness going down here, and I'll show you in a little bit down there how I ran it. Then I got my passenger harness for the motor, and then the signal wire going through the top. It's still not tied in all the way because I needed to make sure that it was correct. But there's a couple tie down parts that are part of this plastic, but they just kind of clip on, so I put some zip ties on there, and it goes all the way over there. But let me show you first on the passenger side. So I dropped my harness down through behind the wheel well, and that's a harness right here coming out from the wheel well. And then I ran it inside the truck's frame, and then right here I just have it pulled out a little bit to show you. But so I fit it through here first because it's the shortest hole entry that fits the connector, and then it just runs down the frame. So I pulled it out through here to be able to reach or be able to feed it through this hole here as well. So, and then that's the harness end, and that's the part of the motor on there. So I'm just gonna connect those, and then the part of the motor does come with one of those little Christmas clips. So I believe there is a hole, like one of those small holes pretty close to it that it'll fit, and then I'll feed the rest of the wire back into the frame of the truck. And then let me show you the driver's side. Alright, so driver's side, same deal, through the back side of the wheel well, and then it comes out through here. And I wrapped a small harness, which is the signal wires down here. I wrapped them around this already harness just so it doesn't come off. Probably gonna put a zip tie or two. And then same with the motor harness, ran it through the frame, and this was the shorter run, so from here to here. And I pulled it out, and this side the motor harness comes out this way, and then the hardware's here, so the little Christmas clip doesn't really fit anywhere because the harness is not long enough, or at least it doesn't grab into any of the points here. So this one's just gonna stay somewhere here. I'm probably gonna zip tie this to this existing harness just so it doesn't wiggle around. And then the signal wire, there is a grommet somewhere down here. The signal wire, we're going to push it in through this grommet, and it'll go in through the driver's foot or the carpet side. So I'm just going to pull out the carpet a little bit, and then we're going to be able to reach into the connector and splice into that. So we'll do that next. Alright, so now inside of the driver's side, we're going to have to remove some trims. You can remove this one first, and it's just held by those clips on there. So all you do is just pry it up. And then next up is the one by the hood release latch, and same deal, it's just held on by some clips, and you'll be able to just pull it off. And then next we're going to be pulling back the carpet on this side because we need to get to our grommet that's right there. So you don't even need to pull it up that much. As you can see, the grommet is there. And then we're going to pull the wire, and we need to get to the connector that's somewhere up here. I'll have to look through the instructions again, but it's somewhere up here. So let me pull the wire first. Alright, so I got my signal wire here, and now we need to reach in and get the BCM. And it tells you here there's a locking tab on the middle right here, and then it should pull down towards you or towards the floor. So I can show you where the box is, which is that one, this one right here. And it does have a little tab or a little thing you can right there on the middle. You can just either remove this wire, because this is basically the one you need, so you can remove this one as well. So you just, there's a tab here that you press down and then you pull on the wire, or you can press the whole thing and bring it out towards you, and it comes out just like so. Makes it very convenient. There's a lot of access right here, and then we need to find the wires that it's telling us to find. Blue wire with a green stripe and the white wire with the green stripe. So I see the white wire with the green stripe right there, and then the blue wire with the green stripe. I'm not sure if it's which one of those two. So let me check it out. Alright, so basically those two wires that I showed, they go into the same terminal. So they're both, I'm assuming, passenger and driver side. So now I'm just gonna show you how these things go. Basically you have, or like the instructions show, you know, but I think it's easier to understand if you see it. So the great part of this connector, this here, has a little indentation. That's where your OEM wire goes. So you'll put that in there, and then you'll screw this side in, and you see the pointy end. This pointy end will penetrate the wire while still keeping a connection, and it'll tighten up. And then the other end will be your signal wire. You'll feed your wire through the hole. First you strip 3/8 of an inch, or about 3/8 of an inch from the line, and then you'll feed one end through the hole, and then it'll essentially squish in between the metal piece and the threads, making your connection. So let me do those real quick, and then I'll come back to show you. The green with the blue stripe, we're going to be using the white cable from our harness, which is labeled high. And then the white with the green stripe, we're going to use the yellow wire, also is labeled low. So we're going to get our connector or adapter, put them on, and test it. Okay, so we have our wires on there. You can do a little test by pulling them out a little bit, and if they don't come out, that means they actually grabbed. So these ones aren't coming out, so I'm assuming they grabbed. So we'll test the steps in a little bit. Next up, we need to wire the LEDs into the motors, or into the harness that goes to the motors. So we're going to grab those harnesses, and we will put them on. So we have 2 harnesses and 4 LEDs. So it's 2 LEDs per side and one of the harnesses. So we're just going to take this apart, take it down to, we're going to start on the passenger side, and we're going to start running it and putting them where the instructions kind of say they go. And then we'll do the driver side, and I'll show you once I have those finished. Alright, so I got my LED Y harness in place, and I tucked it into the frame of the truck, the Y frame, I mean the Y harness, for the LEDs, and as you can see, it's right here. This is on the passenger side. My first LED is right here, and it's zip tied here, and then I have it zip tied around the frame all the way to the back side, zip tied, and then the LED here, because pretty much the step is here, so it'll be fairly close. And I did the same thing on the driver's side. So now next up, I believe, is to install the steps or plug in the modules and put the steps on. Alright, according to the instructions, after you do the LEDs, it's time to put the fuse back into the harness and then check your connections, and then seal back your things, since we no longer need access to the carpet or those kick panels. And then after that is installing the steps with the nuts that are provided with the box on the steps. There's a little bag, yellow bag over there, with the bolts and nuts that we need for the steps. So let me put this back, let me install this thing on there, and then we'll go on to the steps. Alright, now that we have that back in place, we can test and see if the actual bracket will stand out and close when we open and close the door. So right now it is pulled out, as you guys can see. It went back in. Let me open the door, and it came out. Now let's go check on the passenger side. It should be working as well. Right now it's not sticking out, but let's open the door. There it is, beautiful. Now I guess it's time to install the steps. Alright, so we're about to install the step on the driver's side. Instructions does say to open the door. Once you troubleshooted that the motors work, open the doors, so the bracket can stand out or stick out, and because only the front bracket has a motor, so once it's out, it says to unplug it, so it's still out. But I have plenty of space here, so I'm just going to leave the door open and it's still plugged in. And then next thing you'll need are four of these bolts, and they slide into the groove of your step. And you put two on the front and two on the back, and then we'll lift up the step and guide it into those holes on the brackets, and then we'll hand tighten them first to get our position that we want, further back or further front. What I did, I lined up the end of my step to my door, and then close the door just to make sure that it was working, and then I tied them up like that. So let me mount the steps and we'll be back. Alright, so I kind of line up the steps to the end of the back door, or the end of the step to the end of the back door on both sides, and then tighten up, and then whichever door you open, it'll stand out on the side that you're on. So now I need to just tighten up the brackets that hold the whole things in place. Alright everyone, so it's pretty much done. Both sides are ready to go. Now my wife is gonna show us how they look when she gets in the truck. And just to show you guys how much weight they can hold, or just to see how they look, my wife is 130 something, like close to 300, so we'll see how they fold or look when I go on them. So they feel pretty solid. Don't know how it looks on camera, but I'll say that they're good to go. Alright everyone, so total install time was about maybe 4 hours from start to finish. I hadn't really messed with anything with this truck here. and so I really didn't know how the electrical or how to run the stuff, but overall it was pretty easy. The only thing left to do here is wait until it gets dark so we can see how the LEDs that I put on there look. But they are working. I already checked when I opened the door. I can see the LEDs on, which is, we can't tell how they shine or how far down they shine. So we'll wait until it gets dark and we'll get that part of the video on here.